Okay, so the Eagles' red-hot offense cooled down as the O-line was destroyed by the D-line, led by Nolan Smith. As for a bright spot on the offense, one rookie gets first-team reps, and another rookie took over the whole practice. We also heard from Nakobe Dean, who said he will earn a starting spot. Plus, who's winning the CB2 battle right now out of Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers? One thing I do know is Quinyon Mitchell is starting to take over the slot. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Do your boy a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So day 5 of Eagles training camp in the books, and we got to see the defensive line feast with 3 total sacks on the Eagles offensive line, and they actually could have been credited for more, but the coaches decided to let the play continue. Second-year edge rusher Nolan Smith actually had 2 sacks, and they were on back-to-back plays. The offensive line had no answer for him today. He was in the backfield a lot. If he wasn't getting a sack, he was around the ball. After practice, Nolan Smith mentioned he spent some time working out at the same place as Aaron Rodgers this offseason, and he said he tried to pick his brain and learn from him. I simply just love the fact that he's always trying to get better and always willing to put in the work. He also told reporters that he gained 7 pounds of muscle. And today at training camp, you could tell because one of his sacks came from a speed rush, but the other one was a straight bull rush. So he's definitely added new moves to his toolbox. Speaking of the pass rush, this wasn't today's practice, this was Saturday's practice, but Eagle Al found a clip from Baldy of Live Eagles training camp. Surprised they allowed him to post this, but we see Lane Johnson versus Bryce Huff, and Lane absolutely gives it to him. To be fair though, it is Lane Johnson. I mean, ask Nick Bosa about his time going against Lane Johnson. So this doesn't worry me at all. However, on this rep, Jalen Hurts could have took off running. There was a huge hole, but instead he stays in the pocket, goes through his progressions, and finds a receiver, trusting his offensive line and the play call. I don't think last year he had too much faith in the actual play call. I think, again, we're going to see big things with Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts. Back to today's practice, Saquon Barkley was not there due to a personal reason. Oren Burks didn't practice with a knee, and Lane Johnson didn't practice today due to a toe injury, but he's just day-to-day. Tyler Steen wasn't on the list, but then he did pop up a little later with an ankle injury from Saturday's practice. He's going to miss some time. They didn't quite say how long, but it seems like it's going to be at least a week or 2. However, Zach Berman pointed out his biggest takeaway from the lineup today is that with Lane Johnson and Tyler Steen absent, the Eagles chose to play Mekhi Becton at right guard. We knew there was going to be a battle for the right guard spot. It wasn't just going to be handed to Tyler Steen. With this injury, Mekhi Becton can really show what he's capable of doing. And remember, Brian Baldinger said a couple weeks ago that Mekhi Becton is the best run blocker the Eagles have. And this is an offensive line with Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and Landon Dickerson. Now, before we continue to talk about Day 5 training camp, let's rewind back to OTAs for a second. Paris Campbell on his first impressions of Eagles OTAs. From jump, I was like, damn, we already grinding? What's going on? Usually at the start, it's chill. I asked people, was y'all doing this last year? And they're like, nah, bruh, but we finished 1-7. It ain't sweet anymore. We've talked about it all offseason. These Eagle players are hungry, and the new additions are just as hungry. Saquon Barkley trying to prove that he could be the best back if he's not on a team that's trash like the New York Giants. Devin White, only 26 years old, and people are saying he's washed. Once upon a time, the best linebacker in the NFL, plus a Super Bowl champion. C.J. Gardner-Johnson missed a whole year with the Lions and lost in the NFC Championship. Zach Bond was an outcast on the Saints roster, so he came to Philly to try to start. John Ross retired from the NFL and is trying to get back to the game he loves. I mean, talk about being hungry. And tomorrow, the pads come on. I believe all the Eagle players are excited about the pads, but Nakobe Dean got to be the most excited.
I'm glad that we're getting pads tomorrow because, I mean, this T-shirt and shorts is cute. But, you know, we play football in pads, and we getting pads tomorrow. So I feel like the intensity, and I told the linebacker group this: we need to be the ones that set the precedents, basically, with the violent and the violence that's gonna come tomorrow when we first day in pads.
When I look at this Eagles defense, especially at the linebacker position, we talked about it. Through 5 days, Devin White has been the constant. Zach Bond is always first up when it comes to the first team defense alongside of Devin White, but Nakobe Dean has had just as many snaps on first team as Zach Bond, but he's never got to start practice on the first team defense. Means Vic Fangio still has Zach Bond a little higher than Nakobe Dean, but we still got a lot more training camp and preseason for him to change it. Nakobe Dean straight up said he welcomes the competition at linebacker and he's ready to earn the starting job. Like I said, there's a lot of time left, but that's one of the competitions I'm definitely going to keep my eye on. As for the secondary, it's been pretty much the same. Slay on one side, and either Ringo or Isaiah Rodgers on the other side at outside corner. Although they pretty much got the same amount of first-team reps, Ringo started today's practice as CB2 alongside of Slay, which now makes this 3 practices in a row where Isaiah Rodgers did get first-team reps, but Ringo got first-team reps first, which could mean right now Ringo has a slight advantage over Isaiah Rodgers, or maybe the Eagles just want to see more Ringo. I do not know. As for our first-round pick, Quinyon Mitchell, he continues to play all over the field, dime, nickel, outside, and he's been getting first-team reps little by little at each position too. Today was the first day he got first-team reps at the nickel spot at the beginning of practice. And this is what Avonte Maddox said about it.
He's a great player, smart. He asks questions. He talks to me every single day. I always, encourage him and, tell him things, little tips here and there that'll help him out. But I definitely been watching him at nickel. Even today, him getting out there and, they running certain routes and he is doing it right. I was like, that was when he get back to the sideline, I tell him it's great.
Again, pads come on tomorrow. Then we can really see who elevates over the other guy, especially at the linebacker and cornerback position. Brandon Lee Gouton tweeted that Avonte Maddox said today he notices Eagle wide receivers lining up in different spots more often. He said he's seen more Devonta Smith in the slot than he's used to seeing. But the first person who let the cat out the bag was Isaiah Rodgers, who joined my show yesterday. If you didn't catch that episode, definitely go check it out. He talks about training camp and had a lot of interesting things to say. But this is what he said about Smitty. Yeah, and I think Ringo said it yesterday, right? Going against Smitty and AJ is only going to make you better. They're 2 of the top NFL receivers, and you get to go against them every day at practice. Who have you been matched up more thus far through 3 days, Smitty or AJ?
For sure, AJ. Smitty's more like motion guy, more in the slot and things like that, and I'm more outside. So, I've been probably more against AJ and Paris Campbell more than anything.
Man, I'm so excited to see what Saquon, AJ, Jalen, Dallas Goedert does. But I talked about it throughout this offseason. Since we got Kellen Moore, I believe Devonta Smith might have his best season as an Eagle because I see Kellen Moore utilizing him the most in motion. Pretty much the way Kellen Moore used CeeDee Lamb and Keenan Allen is how they're going to use Devonta Smith. So like I said, a lot of playmakers. We're going to see a lot of people eat. But watch this Smitty season in full effect. As for the Eagles' defense as a whole under Vic Fangio, listen to how Landon Dickerson describes the challenges.
What do you see that's complicated about it?
I'm not giving away trade secrets, obviously, but Vic is obviously very experienced. He's got a lot of experience coaching, calling plays, calling defenses. He's seen a lot of different coordinators in his years of coaching, and he knows the issues in every offense and kind of how to get under people's skin. And that's the thing that we love is, he's going to call the absolute best defense he can call to a play, make it super hard on the offense, and we got to figure out, and we still got to make the play go. We can't just say, just because he called a great defense here doesn't mean it's, the play's dead in the water, right? So I think he does a tremendous job of challenging our offense and the looks that he gives and the defenses that he calls to, make us really work and have to be perfect.
Hey, man, Fangio's going to get these guys right. I can't wait to see the continued growth. Moving on to the Eagles' offense. Again, Jalen Hurts wasn't bad, but he was pressured so much that it really wasn't his fault. He didn't have time to complete passes or let wide receivers get open. Although Jonny Wilson made some nice catches today, which is important to note, because it was against the first-team defense. Yes, Jonny Wilson got first-team reps. And we also heard Nick Sirianni say he loves the fact that he can play inside and outside. His physicality in the run game should and will be utilized. Plus, in certain matchups, He wants to use the height to exploit some mismatches. So as I recently said, I still believe Paris Campbell is the favorite to win wide receiver 3. I'm not counting out John Ross, Jonny Wilson, and although Anais Smith is struggling, I believe he's going to bounce back, and I still think wide receiver 3 is a open competition. As for the running back position with Saquon Barkley out due to personal things, Will Shipley finished practice with 5 total touches with the first team offense. Most of any player on the field, also had a highlight catch down the sideline between 2 defenders. Interesting. The first day that Saquon misses some time, the Eagles don't go to Kenneth Gainwell. They go to Will Shipley, who not only had the most first-team reps, had the most first-team touches. In an offense that has Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Will Shipley from Clemson had 5 total touches. Again, can we say RB2? I think that's another competition we got to look at for sure as training camp goes on, and especially in the preseason. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Do your boy a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. Leave a comment. I absolutely love hearing from you. Drop the muscle emoji if you got nothing to say. And also, if you missed the Isaiah Rodgers interview, go back and check it out. It should pop up here, but he has some great things to say. We out.